today with our opening prayer, and then off we go. O Great Spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my Father, my Mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives, and we thank you for these good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste. Okay, so our first question is from Mattis today. He's saying, Hi Sky, I've had a weird pain in the back of my ears and in the back of my head. Is this because of my back? What can you see? It hurts when I wear glasses. Thank you for everything you do. Much love. Okay, well, I actually saw psychic attack the moment I scanned you, Mattis. I saw psychic attack. So let's just start by getting Archangel Michael to come in and just pull out any psychic attack from the back of your neck, your head, your ears, any negativity that you've heard or you've absorbed through the edge. Remove that now. Oh, that's looking a lot better. I think it's in reverse. You're saying, is it because of your back? I actually think it's because of your eyes. I think you need to go get tested for glasses or something like that. So book yourself in with an optometrist because I think you're doing this because you're struggling to see and it's actually throwing out your back because you're not being supported in seeing the truth. Eye problems often come from the liver not being cleaned out simply because we're angry at what we see or we're afraid to tell the truth about what we're seeing. It's very painful to find yourself in a situation that you thought you'd healed or you thought that you got out of, and then, gosh, it happens again, whether it's an intimate relationship or a situation with your family or with your children. And very often we would rather not see it than deal with the pain of it and go deeper or deal with the depth of the issue itself, right? So let's just take a minute and release our fears of seeing the truth. There we go. That's looking better. Let's do the next one. Okay, Sarah saying, Hi Sky, can I have a love reading? Is there a soulmate connection coming my way? Thank you. Have a blessed day. Okay, Sarah. So I immediately get the romance angels coming in and saying, yes, there is a soulmate connection coming your way. I'm not sure what part of the world that you're in, but they're showing me spring. I can see a lot of like blossoms, cherry blossoms on trees. I think you're going to meet this person in the park, right? So if it were me, if this image were being given for my love life, I would know that I'm probably going to meet my soulmate under some cherry trees, or in a park that contains cherry trees. So if there's a park local to you, or a botanic garden or an area local to you where they grow cherry trees, I would start going for a walk by there every day. It's also the energy of it. So the energy of spring, the energy of blossoming, the energy of freshness and newness. Let's bring that energy in as well. Yeah, and the message that I'm also getting is he doesn't look like your type. He doesn't look like your type, and that he's going to be dark and he's going to be tall. But he doesn't look like your normal type. So they're saying, like, look beyond the skin. I was speaking to my husband about this the other week, about a friend that we have who fell in love with a woman who's not his usual type at all. And I was saying to him, the soul is sexier than the body. He's still in shock that he's absolutely head over heels in love. But if it's your soulmate, it's your soulmate, and It's getting out of our heads and connecting with our hearts so that we're open and available for that real soulmate connection instead of, necessarily what we're lusting after or what we might physically be attracted to. Okay, Kate Hodge is saying, "Hi Sky, I've been in pain in my right side upper abdomen after picking up my nephew. Is it just a pulled muscle or something more serious? Any guess is appreciated. Sorry, any guidance is appreciated. Thank you." Um, Upper side, right side. I think you've got a trapped nerve under your shoulder blade. So you want to like hook your arm over the side of a chair and like put your arm straight down, or go and see a chiropractor. It looks like a trapped nerve to me, so it's still very painful. So I would go get that seen too. I wouldn't leave it. If the chair trick doesn't work, then I would go and get that seen too. Okay, Judith Grote saying, "Dear Sky, my daughter Lily gave me permission for a health check. Her body is reacting to certain fruits, so she can't eat them: plum, apple, cherry, banana. Thank you for the clearing and the healing." Okay, let's do an energy scan. Okay, so this is Candida. Like the moment I'm scanning her, she's got a fungal infection, darling, inside her gut. So the reason her body's reacting to the plum, the cherry, the banana is because of the sugar content is feeding the candida, and your body's already like saying it's she needs a proper candida cleanse. There we go. So by baking soda, cut out all the sugar and the carbs and get yourself some proper herbs from a herbalist. Or now, candida from a metaphysical perspective is resentment, right, and not being treated appropriately. So there is a season, okay? There is a season when you start stepping into your worth where you become aware of just how many people were in your life just to use you. And it's not nice, but it is necessary. And it doesn't matter whether you're 13 or whether you're 37 or whether you're 75. When your self-worth increases, all the people that were getting something out of your low self-esteem will no longer be happy, right? The relationship will now create friction. So that's where, with candida in particular, right? We are angry at places where we're letting people take advantage of us, but we're letting them take advantage of us because we don't believe that anyone will love us if we have a higher standards. So it's a deep down belief that being worthy of more is entitlement, being worthy of more is grandiosity, being worthy of more is a form of greed that needs to be cleared so that you can get that you're unconditionally worthy of God's love and light. Okay? There we go. Greed is a belief that there is not enough for everybody, there's only enough for you. So it comes from a belief that there's not enough, that there's lack. Worth comes from a belief that there's more than enough for you and for everybody else, right? It comes from you shifting from believing that the world is like a cake divided into a certain number of pieces to understanding that energy, life, the planet is an infinite, abundant resource. There we go. Woof. Okay. We're just going to send Archangel Raphael to do a healing for her too, so she's not afraid of shifting her worth. If you shift your worth, you will lose people. Okay, you will lose people. But if you don't shift your worth, you'll lose yourself. You'll probably lose your divine life purpose. You'll lose your voice. You probably will lose your health. If you live your whole life being treated in ways that, feel bad, you will get resentful, you'll get bitter, you'll get depressed. It's yes, the price of worthiness is high, but the price of worthlessness is way higher, right? The bill is way higher on that one. So, and it causes a lot of illnesses. So I have to deal with it. And it's not just an abundance issue. Okay. It's a love issue. If you don't feel worthy of love, it blocks everything, particularly God's love, your capacity to heal. So worthiness is a huge deal. There we go. That's moving nicely now. Nicoletta saying, "Dear Sky, I'm with a new partner. We have to go swimming pool. I feel body shamed from my childhood. May I ask for healing? I fear he will not like me. Okay, we're just going to send in the inner child angels and ask for a deep healing to just pull out all this shame and all this fear that your worth is your appearance, these beliefs that you're ugly, and let's replace it with the truth that you're beautiful beyond measure. And that you're worthy of love. Whew. Worthy of beauty, worthy of being chosen, worthy of being admired. Okay, it's looking good. Going in for Aisha now. She's saying, Hi, Sky. Can I have a reading? I've been feeling very out of place and disconnected from humanity. Not sure if I'm going to a new level of awakening. Any insights? When I'm tuning into you, they're showing me that you're really sensitive, like the clairsentience is coming up, and the angels are kind of coming up around psychic gifts. And there's a real energy of you feel like you're too sensitive to be around other people and the negativity that they bring. So it's not so, you are going into another level of awakening, but the answer is not isolation. The answer is to start looking for groups of people who are more conscious about what they're speaking about, who are more focused on their dreams, who are more focused on their desires, who are more, energetically sensitive as to what they're bringing into the room so that you can have these real relationships. You know, when you only have friends or community where they bond over things that went wrong or negative things that happened, you then get sucked into that negative energy. It's a trauma bond instead of a real relationship, right? If you don't have anything to talk to about somebody else to somebody else except their emotional pain, that's a trauma bond. So, yes, it's a normal part of our friendship for you guys to discuss your emotional and spiritual pain, every once in a while, maybe once a week or once a fortnight, but not all the time, not every day. And it should not dominate the conversation. It should be a part, but not the whole of the conversation. Okay, so let's just do an energy clearing so that you feel safe. There we go. That's moving nicely. Sylvia saying, Hi, Sky. My uterus is dorsal. May I have children in the future without an operation? Thank you. Look, obviously, I'm not a medical professional. When I'm tuning into Archangel Raphael, I am seeing you having the operation. Okay. So I think it's part of your future. Is it possible from a metaphysical perspective to heal anything in the body? Yes. Do I think at this level of discipline, you would have to change a lot? You'd have to be visualizing your uterus being healed and whole, multiple times a day, every day. Um, to work this kind of a miracle. But is it possible? Yes. But it would require a lot more energy than you're currently giving it. But anything is healable. I've seen everything heal. But the angels at the moment, unless you dramatically change your faith or your belief in yourself, then it's looking like the surgery is going to happen. However, it looks like it's successful, right? It looks like the surgery happens, it's successful, and you do go on to have kids. That's what I'm seeing. Remember, I'm not a doctor, so it's important that you listen to the medical professionals. That's just an angel reading, okay? Okay. Lucia is saying, Hi, Sky. Do you think trading with cryptocurrency is good for me? I would like to do also healing. My financial situation is hardworking in jobs. Look, I think cryptocurrency is a very good idea, but I think that anything you do has to do with mindset. So learning trading, whether it's the market or whether it's crypto, it's a skill. It takes time. It takes study. And it takes being comfortable with risk, because what most people do is they invest, and then the moment that the market changes, they try and pull their money out, or they do, things that are really, really not good investment, moves. You want to invest an amount of money that you can afford, right? And then you want to invest it ideally in index funds or mutual funds, and a certain percentage in crypto. But trading is only for people that have a very high risk threshold. If you don't have a very high risk threshold, you'll end up putting yourself you make yourself catatonic with stress. Most people have a very low risk threshold. So you want to energetically expand your risk threshold, and then you're going to have to practice with amounts of money that you can afford. But 100%, it's a good idea. It's just not a quick way out of the mindset of, I have to do hard work for money. That's a self-worth issue, which seems to be a strong theme today. All right. We started off with worthiness coming up in quite a few of the angel readings. If you want to shift from having to work hard for money, you have to believe that your worth is unconditional. If you believe that your worth is your work, then you're always going to have to exchange something for money. You have to get to a point where you believe that your worth is unconditional, and that the highest form of worth is your creativity instead of the highest form of a worth being your work. It's a different belief system, but it can very much be achieved. Okay, Diana saying, beautiful sky. Does my partner love me? I fear because he is so handsome and other women are looking at him. I'm not so well shaped. May I ask for a healing? Let's just start by sending you unconditional love and the romance angels in. Okay, so I am getting the romance angels showing me like a red flag here. So I don't think this is about the way that you look or about insecurity. There are things going on here that don't look quite right to me. So I would get a private investigator, or I would get somebody to just check in to make sure that everything's okay. But we need to do a healing around this, because this is like you are energetically saying that you have less worth than him, and that you are not attractive as a woman, and that's really going to cause problems. So can we release that? And can we replace it with, I am attractive as a woman, I am more attractive than him? I know how to live without neglecting my body. I know how to live without neglecting myself. Okay, that's looking better now. Mary saying, hi, Sky. Can you please tell me about my relationship with my husband? We have highs and lows, but sometimes I feel like it's not supposed to be this hard. Am I meant to be with him? Can we be happy? The angels are showing me some kind of power struggle between you two. Um, they're showing me that like, if you want this relationship to work, that he's in his feminine energy and you're in your feminine energy, so you guys are competing energetically wise, and that's what's causing the clashes. So this is about you doing deep work on that wounded little girl that feels it's not safe to be a woman, that it's not safe to be provided for, because otherwise you'll just attract another man that's in his feminine as well, because you'll be afraid of masculine men, you'll be afraid of provider men. So it's really going deep into the places where you were made to feel unworthy of provision and emotional safety, so that you can come out the other side. And one of two things will happen. The relationship will either shift, or somebody else will come in. But stop. This is the thing about relationships. Nothing outside of you is real. Okay? Nothing in the room is real. That's what the basic of Course in Miracles that you come back to whenever there's any drama in your life. Nothing in the room is real. Everything outside is a reflection of what's going on inside. So, and it comes often from a decision or a belief that you made in the past, right? So if you choosing this partner came from a place of feeling unworthy of unconditional love, and unworthy of provision, unworthy of validation and recognition, of being seen, then unless you shift that inside yourself, the relationship won't shift, the energy won't shift. And even if it does, you'll reject it because you still don't feel worthy, right? There we go. Ooh. Okay. Isha97 is saying, "Hey Sky, can you tell me when I will meet my compatible counterpart? Thank you." They're actually showing me autumn of this year, and they're showing me you already know him. He's currently traveling. He's not. He's literally currently traveling and not inside the country right now. And it's going to be at some kind of a wedding, a large convention. I can see a lot of people, greeting each other, and a lot of like rows and rows of chairs. So it's going to be at a convention or a wedding. So there's an energy of taking the time that you need to prepare. So they're really saying, it's time to do the self-love work. It's time to do the lovability stuff. It's time to really slow down so that you can really be ready to see him. Art community saying, "Hi Sky, I don't know how to manage to get out of my marriage due to my financial situation, and it keeps getting worse. I feel so overwhelmed. Any advice on next steps? I can't move out yet. Thank you." So the angels are, I literally hear like your angels like screaming at me that ask for help. Ask for help. And they don't mean me. They mean like domestic violence shelters. They mean um financial strategists, because you're living with someone who's constantly putting your worth down and constantly hurting you, which makes it very hard for you to manifest things financially, but also for you to feel capable of dealing with all of that, emotional cumulative trauma. And um it's really really harder than you're giving yourself credit for being. So there's a real energy of get yourself into support groups. If you can't get out the house because he's controlling in that way, get yourself onto online support groups for narcissism and for codependency and for women in abusive relationships or domestic violence, because I think you're thinking that abuse for like those groups are for women who are getting beaten. No, no, the majority of abuse is coercive control. It's financial manipulation, it's emotional manipulation, it's spiritual manipulation, and it's very effective. You can control somebody and keep them in a lot of fear, and you can do a lot of trauma and never actually have to physically harm them. Okay. So it's really important that you start to see yourself as worthy of help, because this energy of like keeping the secret, that is really really gonna like the isolation will hold you down and slow down your progress. Women will help you. There are networks of women all over the country designed to get women out of toxic relationships, toxic marriages. They will find you a job, they will get you a place to stay, they will help you, but you have to reach out and let them in. The Archangel Michael's coming through so strong. He's also saying stop blocking getting help on the condition of not being financially stable. They're saying that someone's going to help you. I'm really seeing like it's gonna be an act of grace. The moment that you step out of isolation, the moment that you really admit that what you're dealing with is domestic violence, people are gonna help you. You're not gonna be there. You're gonna move before you're financially ready to move, and you're going to be supported in becoming financially free. But first, you have to kind of come out and say it, and it's going to work. People are going to help you. I think that he might have said no one's going to help you or something like that, but there's a really strong energy of people are wanting to help you. People can help you. They're saying stop waiting until you can get the finances sorted and ask for help, or take the help that's being offered to you. Put the pride down and get out. If you think about, I've forgotten her name, but there was a very famous singer who was, in a violent relationship with her partner. And he kept her in the relationship because he was also her manager, and he would threaten to take everything that she had. And she tolerated it for years and years and years, until one day the grace came through, and the thought that came through her head was, you can have my past, I'm taking my future. So stop waiting to be financially free, go. Just go. The rest will fall into place, but you can't attract and pull in what you want to pull in or what you need to pull in constant fear, in constant abuse. It just throws your energy down all the time, and you're constantly heartbroken. So that is it's really detrimental to your health, your mental health, your physical health, your emotional health. Like I just really, your angels are like, get out, get out, get out. Stop listening to the voices in your head that like putting it off and putting it off. Just get out. The rest will fall into place. But even if you just pack a duffel bag and get out, you're never going to look back. Things are going to work out. You're going to be free. But literally, it's like an energy of move, move, move. They're really trying to protect you here. So I'm not sure what's going on, but it's really important that you listen. Um, Aisha's saying, "Hi, Sky. Can I have a reading? I've been feeling very out of place and disconnect." Oh, we've done this one already. Mitra's saying, "My daughter 8 years old, she gave permission, has difficulties in school, friends that are toxic, and huge problems in mathematics and reading and writing. I'm learning with her, but she can't remember and forgets. Thanks." My love, this is trauma. This is really trauma. Um, they're showing me it's trauma from earlier teachers. I start having a conversation with her about how her teachers reacted when she couldn't do maths or when she couldn't do reading and writing. I can see her having to do some sort of math up on a board, and then everybody laughing. Or there's something about public speaking and a trauma that's like creating the learning disability, the learning problems. Um, and there's also like a part of her that doesn't want to be clever because of the bullying and the like life is hard enough without her being a SWAT and being like persecuted for being bright. So let's just take a minute and clear as much of this as we can. But the angels are saying, she might be better suited to homeschooling or moving to another school altogether and having a fresh start. This is just not a good environment for her at all. Okay, that's looking better. Hi, darling. I'm Daphne Simmons. Hi, Daphne. I have attracted a huge opportunity in music. What do you see for this? Is it legit? What do you feel for it? It feels a bit narcissistic, though. Can you help? It feels real, but you're 100% correct about the narcissistic stuff. Daphne, you're a big girl. A lot of people who are very successful have a strong narcissistic streak. So, use that energy of go in there with eyes wide open. You know what you're getting into, but basically make sure that you're going in there, but you're not giving anybody your heart. You're not getting attached on an emotional level. You're going in, doing an incredible job, and coming back out. But that's it, and then it will work. The danger comes if you allow yourself to be like taken over by the grandiosity and the illusion of that world, and then you kind of believe it's for real. So it's a real opportunity, and it looks like a really good opportunity, but just keep that professional head on. And they're going to do a lot to try and get you to take your guard down, and connect. You just keep it, professional, keep it, playful. Don't give away any serious details about your personal life. Just keep it professional and keep it playful, and it's going to work out. Go in, go out, and it's going to work out. With modeling, with music, a lot of the jobs are like that, especially it doesn't, don't think it would matter who you talk to. They would say the same thing, because a lot of people, when they have a lot of power, they have a lot of people around them who are very jealous and who are very angry and trying to tear them down. And then they have a lot of people who are people pleasing because they want opportunities and they want to get in. That's the perfect recipe for creating narcissism. Okay. So it can really hurt people being in that environment where people they thought they could trust are trying to use them. And then other people they thought they could trust are trying to tear them down. It's very hard for them to stay normal unless they really ground and they really get around grounded people. Right. So let's just take a moment to release all your fears that you're not worthy, or that you're not deserving, or that you can't handle it. You're a very strong, powerful, beautiful woman. You can hold your own. Just don't let it go to your head. Don't get into that space where you're thinking they're telling the truth, or they have it better than you, or they are better than you. Just go in, do a good job, stay professional, be playful, get out. There we go. Okay. Monica's saying, "Hi, Sky. My boyfriend has been distant for a while due to work and family issues on his end. Should I initiate contact to have a conversation, or wait for him to do it? Wait for him to do it. I don't want to nag him or stress him, just support him. Though now at times I wonder if he's given up on us and not interested in me anymore. It hasn't and hasn't told me it. Thank you." My love, unless, like, okay, so let's look at the rules again of commitment and dating, right? Unless a man has put a ring on your finger, you only dating and being monogamous to him is loyalty that's too early. So it basically doesn't incentivize them to provide or to commit. And it's not historically how it works. Okay. So you're the only one that can choose your worth. Some women will be with you for dinner. Some women will be with you if you let them move in with you. Some women will be with you if you pay their bills. Some women will be with you only if you put a ring on their finger. It's your decision what price tag you have as a woman, right? But exactly for the situation you're in, which I see a lot, um, there's an we're women often commit too early. We're loyal before that person has shown any level of loyalty or commitment to us. So at this stage, if I was with a partner who was constantly busy, that would be a giant red flag for me. If I was with a partner who was constantly at events with family and friends, I would be wondering if he's married. I would be wondering, like you said, if I was ever a priority in the first place. And if he wasn't taking me with him, I'd be wondering, like, this is not a person who's proud of me or who wants to connect me with his family. These are big red flags. You with me? So before, when you messaged, you could see that he was working very hard and he needed support. But now it feels like he's using that working very hard as a way of pushing you away and not involving you, in family life. So I would be energetically pulling back, because that's what the feminine does. You don't chase. So if he's energetically pulling back, you energetically pull back, close off your energy, and you open up again. And if he says, "Oh, I didn't know we were seeing other people," I said, "Well, you haven't spoken to me in 2 or 3 weeks. I didn't know where we stood. You haven't made any serious commitment. I do like you, but if anybody else decides to commit before you, then I'm going to cut all contact and move on, because you're not showing me signs of commitment." And that normally kind of sparks them up to, I could lose her, and she's serious, right? She's serious about her worth. She's serious about her value. Or it immediately shows you that they were never intending to invest in the first place, because they'll just either slut shame you or tell you that you shouldn't that you should just wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. And all that tells you is they want to use you. They want to use your emotional labor. They want to use your domestic labor. They want to use you sexually, but they don't really want to commit. And you don't want to be available for that. Right. So what it does when you go into your own worth and when you open up to other men, I'm not talking sexually, I'm talking about dating, I'm talking about courting. What that does is it sends a signal that you're in your feminine and that you are attractive and that they are the ones to do the chasing. And the men that are compatible with that, they will go after you. The men that are not compatible with that are not men you want. Trust me on that one. Right? But if you're thinking calling an issue won't make a difference, won't change his mind, won't fix it. The only thing that it will do, if he's not a strong person, is it will make him feel guilty, right? And he might keep covering it up for a little bit longer if there's an issue there. But there's definitely something not right here. But no, I wouldn't call. I would literally move in the silence. I would be making sure that I'm opening up to dating other people. I'm going out to a lot of events now. I'm putting myself first 100%, and that would be it. And I wouldn't be chasing. Simply because it doesn't work, not because I'm punishing him or trying to teach him a lesson. It just doesn't work. Rennie says, "Hi, I'm looking for guidance. So many problems. Hypertoxic thyroid, Paraphageal hiatal hernia, fibromyalgia. List hours long. What are some good first steps towards self-healing? Darling, get out of the toxic relationships. Everything you've listed here, right, are conditions that in medical intuitive are directly connected to emotional abuse and physical abuse and narcissistic relationships. Thyroid is not being able to speak your truth, right? So a lot of anxiety around not being able to speak your truth. Hiatal hernia is literally because all gut issues are inner child. So it literally your guts are bursting out. You're not allowed to talk about what your gut feelings are, your gut truths are. Fibromyalgia is literally trauma inherited in the ancestral lines. This has been in your family for a long time. So, reading wise, you want to read things like The Body Keeps Score, um, Gabor Mate's books, Anthony Williams' books. You want to start doing energy clearing meditations, but you also really want to start clearing up toxic relationships and removing them from your life because your body literally cannot absorb any more abuse. It's just saying no because you can't say no. Okay, my love. Feel free to hop into the DMs and talk to one of the team as well if you need one-to-one support because that's three issues because your body's screaming because you're not allowed to scream. You feel like it's your fault. Okay, I'm going to send in Archangel Raphael to do an instant healing for you. But this is what we're talking about. It's easier on an unconscious level to focus on the pain of the illness than on the pain of the trauma, repeating and not knowing how to stop it. This deep existential fear that you'll never be loved, that you'll never escape the cycle. So we're just going to ask the karmic angels to come in and clear that too. Okay, a little bit of water. Okay. Love Sunshine is saying, can I ask about a scan on my body? My sleep is really bad. I am in menopause. Taking ashwagandha now. Any other advice, please? Many thanks. Rhodelia is a really good herb to be taking. Getting outside the first 30 minutes, an hour before you do screen time, before you do coffee, first thing in the morning. But what the angels are showing me is you're worrying. You're worrying about finances, and that's why your adrenals aren't stopping. So let's just take a minute to get that divine light to come in and just give it all of your fears about financial safety and security. God is your source of abundance. Okay, Jennifer Morgan saying, hi, lovely. Would love some guidance from my angels today for my next actions to take, or maybe even sit back and relax and allow. I am seeing allowing. I'm seeing resting, actually. I'm really seeing almost like taking a week and escaping to the countryside. But I'm also seeing that's connected to fast action. I'm seeing like grace coming in and like the opportunity being there, like red hot, the moment that you really rest and allow. So you're getting your divine guidance is very much let go, and then the grace is going to come in and make it happen for you. I don't have my cards with me, love. I'm at my mom's. So it is just tuning in today. But my feeling around this is go for it 100%. When I asked the angels, I can see Archangel Michael with his staff, literally like thou you shall not pass. But there's also a real energy of like you need to find a lawyer who's like really cutthroat, that's really experienced in dealing with, really dishonest people. Um, there's a real energy of You have to let go of the guilt. There's a real, because that's what's happening, is that you want custody of your son, but you feel guilty. There's this energy of, I'm tearing him away from his father, etc. But the reality is, um, you know, you are not responsible for somebody else's abusive and illegal behavior or criminal behavior. And when somebody chooses to cross that line, and they're literally willing to put their own child's safety at risk, you know, whether it's emotional safety or physical safety, that's when mothers are supposed to stand up and roar. That's when that lioness energy, that's when that archangel Ariel energy comes out, because our children need us, right? It's really dangerous to leave children with, very abusive people. It's very, very dangerous. So, let's say, for example, your husband, this is not what I'm saying, but I'm using another example. Let's say, for example, your husband is the head of a drug ring, or your husband is the head of a trafficking ring or a prostitution ring. They may never directly hit your child, but the exposure to that toxic environment, the seeing all, the knowledge that other people are getting abused, the reality that they could be harmed by any of their competitors at any moment is still abuse. So it's not all abuse is not always direct and it's not always obvious. There's so much stuff in the collective consciousness around abuse is only abuse if somebody is whacking you, or giving you a black eye. The most powerful forms of abuse is coercive control. It's manipulation. It's not the physical stuff. In fact, the most powerful, abusers in the world rarely hurt or killed other people because they got other people to do it for them, right? So it's very important to release that from your consciousness so that people can't control you or use their coerciveness to abuse you, because you get confused, you get cognitive dissonance. You're like, well, they're not actually doing anything, but all this terrible stuff is happening around them and they're okay with it. In law, we call it coercion or collusion, right? So it's important to understand that is still a form of abuse. There we go. Whew. Just let go of all the guilt. Give it back to him. It's not yours. You didn't make the choices that he made. You can't undo it. And you do what you need to do to protect your child. Period. End of story. But I think, like, the angels are also saying, like, I can hear like a finger on mouth. It's also like quiet. Like, stop talking about it. Move in the silence. This is not a safe thing to be talking even around your son about, right? They do this in privacy. Move in the silence. Don't advertise that you're doing this. Literally move quickly and move to strike. Find somebody that's really, really good as a lawyer, and do it quietly, do it in the background. Don't let anybody see you coming. Art community, my stomach is bloated every time I eat something. By the end of the day, I look like I'm pregnant and about to give birth. Could you scan what's happening and what could help? Parasite cleanse, liver flush. Gosh, my love, it's not that simple. You need a lifestyle change. You genuinely need a lifestyle change. You're like, you need to come off the sugar and the dairy, and you need, regular sleep and away from the abusive relationships. Yes, a liver flush will help. Yes, a parasite cleanse will help, but they're not a long-term solution, right? The long-term solution is addressing your neglect wound, so that then you're not neglecting yourself and you're not constantly abusing your body or silencing your body with food. The gut bloating up, this is like all the emotions that we're not allowed to speak, that we're not allowed to feel, that we're not allowed to express, particularly from childhood, right? Getting crammed in. Parasite cleanse, parasitic people in your life using you the way the parasites kind of suck all of the life out of us. Um, Liver flush, anger from being mistreated and being abused, and being emotionally silenced and manipulated and shut down and having to put up with it. So all of these things help, but you need to get out of the toxic relationships, and you need to work on the neglect wound so that you stop neglecting yourself and you stop tolerating anybody in your life that would neglect you as well. I'm going to send an Archangel Raphael to heal you. If anybody wants to know more about medical intuition, how this works, this is my zone of genius. This is what I'm very, very good at doing. But the body is the the effect, it's never the cause. It's the effect of our lifestyle, it's the effect of our relationships, it's the effect of our choices. It's never the cause of the problem. So I work on all three levels. We do the nutrition, we do the herbs, we do the cleanses, but we also really resolve the emotional stuff because otherwise it just keeps coming back, right? It just keeps coming back because it's your body's way of defending you against the relationships and the situations that you are not defending yourself in real life. Okay. Hi, Sky. Blessings to you. I have a hard time asking my partner for help financially. I know he wants to help. It's just difficult for me to express it. May I please have a healing on this? Thank you. You can call in the goddesses and the female angels to really help release the trauma of that wounded little girl, right? Who was told that she had to be independent, who was told that the moment she let her guard down, she would be used, she'd be disappointed, she'd be hurt. Okay, that's looking good. Barbie is saying, "Hi Sky, my mala beads broke this morning while I was meditating. Is there any meaning and do I need to place the beads in my garden?" I would place the beads in your garden and I would they're protecting you. So when things break, it's because someone or something sent us a negative energy or an attack that was supposed to hurt us or supposed to damage us, and the object took it for us instead. So often, prayer necklaces, crystals, anything that's designed for your protection that snaps and breaks, it basically means that it took the hit for you. It absorbed the negative energy for you so that you wouldn't get harmed or hurt by it. So yes, you want to bury them in the garden and you want to get some new ones. Ideally, you want to keep an extra set inside the house so that if it happens again, you can replace them. It means it's working and that they are protecting you. Anna Maria is saying, "Hi Sky, what do I have to do to have finances? Please give me a reading and a healing feeling stuck." Oof. So the first thing I'm hearing is like, watch your words. You're constantly speaking badly about your finances. You're constantly worrying. So the first thing that they're really saying to do is like stop talking negatively about yourself, stop talking negatively about your finances, stop talking negatively about your work. Because if you're talking negatively about your work and your finances, imagine somebody else overhearing that. So let's say I'm talking about healing and I'm like, oh, I had this really bad experience and this client's given me such a hard time. And anybody overhearing that conversation isn't getting excited about working with me, isn't thinking I'm good at my job, isn't thinking that my energy is like, attracting or pulling them in. So you block opportunities. And when you speak well of yourself and what you do, people overhear that energy goes out into the environment or the ethers. And whether you're a healer or a teacher or you work in finances, when people hear you speaking well about your work, they're like, oh, I want that person on my team, or oh, I want to get to know them better, or oh, that person would be really good to work with, right? Or that person would be good for that job slot. So number one is stop talking negatively about it. Journal about it if you need to get the toxicity out, but stop talking about it. Only talk well of yourself, of your work, of your finances. New opportunities are going to come. But first, we have to like stop you from cursing yourself. So we're just going to get the angels to come in and vacuum your mouth from all the negative words, all the negative thoughts. Oh, I'm going to blow my nose, guys. Here we go. Okay, and then we're going to bring in the abundance angels to help you accept those opportunities and know that you're worthy of them. Okay. Uzma is saying, can you give me an angel reading in regards to my wish for foreign settlement? Are they sending me any new messages or not? I get a very strong no, like they're not at the moment. You're gonna have to push or get your lawyers to push. Um, yeah, I'm getting a strong no on that at the moment. Jake is saying, "Hi, Sky. Can I have a healing?" Yep, let's pull in Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael. I have a pain in my lower abdomen. Thank you very much. Yep, let's bring in Archangel Raphael. Command an instant healing. There we go. Selena saying, "Hello, Sky. It's about time I go out into the world and offer my services, but I feel such a resistance about being visible and also fear about being drained, being in the presence of others. Any advice?" Number one, do it anyway, even though you're scared, because it's divine masculine and feminine. So when we're scared of something, we face it, right? We face everything and rise. So start before you're ready and do the healing work. Like do the deep, uncomfortable healing work of the times where being visible didn't work out, right? Whether it was childhood bullying or adult bullying or the haters or um, so that you can know that you're unconditionally worthy of being visible and of existing, and that's not conditional on other people, right? So your energy of your worthiness is connected to you and not your level of visibility or popularity, but also not what other people say or don't say. So, for example, I was when I started doing TikTok lives, there's obviously a lot of new people who I've never met before, and I'm quite comfortable with my audience. I've known you guys for a very long time, often like literally 2 decades almost. And suddenly I was thrown into a brand new audience, and there were people going, "Oh, this person thinks she's a spiritual teacher, and oh, this person does that." And because I've been teaching for such a long time, and because I know how much I love you guys, and because I have all this history, right? It didn't get to me. But if that had been the beginning and I hadn't done the healing work, it would have been like, "Oh my God, no one's ever going to take me seriously. And I'm always going to be invisible and people are going to make fun of me." So that doing that inner work, which is like the divine feminine, at the same time as taking divine action, it works really well for getting through those blocks. What I did and what I do is I simply focus on helping the person in front of me. You know, that kind of like that film, Just One More, in the time that I have allocated to be of service in that day. And it works out really well, but 100%, to become more and more visible, you do have to do work on the places where you were persecuted. And that persecution can look like, um, being accused of a crime, like falsely accused of a crime. Persecution can look like being set up. Persecution can look like assassination. Like persecution can look like a lot of different things. So you want to do the healing work around betrayal, right? So that you're no longer taking other people's wounds personally. How other people treat you is about their wounds, not your worthiness. So you can keep doing your divine life purpose without getting majorly triggered by other people's wounds. Mitra are saying, "Scared what will happen when I leave my husband regarding my younger daughter. She's so close to him. He is using her. Do I need to move away to another city or try to give my daughter the father relation?" Like whenever you've got a toxic partner, you're looking at parallel parenting, right? You're not looking at co-parenting, you're looking at parallel parenting. Legally, you don't have the right to remove your child, even if you move to another city. If the person's abusive, they'll find a way. What you need is a good lawyer and a proper domestic violence shelter. You need to report what's been going on, like the kinds of abuse that have been happening, financial, emotional, physical. You need to start keeping records of this stuff. But running away with the child is only going to trigger like a huge backlash and potentially put you and the kid in even more harm. When you're leaving a violent relationship, whether it's emotional violence or physical violence, you and your kid are in the most danger at the leaving stage. Okay, so at that stage, you want to be holding the space as much as possible, calming things down as much as possible, as opposed to igniting it. So you need to choose a path. If you really know he's dangerous, then you need a kick-ass lawyer, and you need to actually write everything down, and you need to start reporting everything that's happening. If you think that you can parallel parent like a lot of people do with narcissists, then that's what you're doing. It's like when he's with her, he's with her. When she's with you, and you parent the way from the loving place that you can, and you start reading about parallel parenting and cope and parallel parenting with a narcissist and how the best way that is for you to do that. But because I'm not in your marriage, I don't know what the severity of it is. You're going to have to gauge this one. The energy I'm getting from the angels is that you need to get out. You, for your sanity, for your health, for your daughter to have a mother, you need to get out, because watching you get abused is really, really not good for you or for your kid. But this is not black and white. So first get the help, right? Like they said to do, start contacting other women that have been through this. They're going to have much better solutions than I can ever come up with on my own, right? And they will find a hybrid with you once they know what's really been going on and they're able to deal with your unique case in the way that it needs to be dealt with. Abuses in every family is not the same. So it's important that you have somebody helping you with your unique situation, helping you create a unique exit strategy, helping you create a safe place, helping you make sure your daughter is safe, unique to the situation that you are in. Okay. Um, so 100%, it's completely not just normal, but the biggest reason women stay is fear for their children. But that fear is there whether you stay or whether you go, because if he really is dangerous, staying is just as dangerous as going, right? It's just that if you go, there's a risk of freedom, and actually, being able to provide the life that she needs with safety, with an example of somebody who's really loving and caring. If you stay, then she's never going to have that experience, and you may never have that experience. And she has to live in constant danger. Okay. So I'm going to call on Archangel Michael to give you the courage to follow the divine guidance one step at a time. So when you think of what's he going to do to her in the future, I want you to stick with what's he doing to me and her now. He's destroying our relationship. He's constantly abusing her mother. She's living in constant fear that I'm going to get hurt, that I'm going to get harmed, whether it's emotionally or physically. So right now, this is not okay. How do I get from here to out and financially stable? How do I get from out and financially stable to able to protect her on an emotional level as well? And kids are very resilient and they're very bright. So if they notice that when they're with you, that they're getting consistent loving care, that you're letting them be honest about their emotions and their feelings, that they get loving discipline and kindness, they're very quick to realize that the other parent isn't the same, and they will start to change their behavior and be different in the two different environments. But if you kidnap a child, you'll end up in jail and then she'll have no one. So it's very important that you do follow, like talk to the domestic violence helplines and start getting organized to leave, but you follow the book because that kid needs you. Okay, so you don't do anything that could mean that she loses her mom as well, right? You do everything to make sure that you're removing her and you from as much abuse as possible, and that you're reducing the risks from as much as possible. Tanya's saying, I just got a big overwhelming feeling of love. Bless you and thank you for all you do. I love you too, Tanya. Ghostly saying, hi, Sky. I was going to eat a salsa and a big piece of a planet appeared on my salsa. What happened here? Thank you. Blessings. Like, food has energy. So you were probably being told to bless the planet, but also to start blessing your food and to start being more conscious about what you're eating, because it's having an effect on you and it's having an effect on your energy. Hi, Skylar. May I have a reading on work and finances, please? So what I'm seeing when I'm tuning into you is just everything's frozen, and there's almost like um you're not allowed to pay attention to it. You're not allowed to care about it. All of your energy has to go towards supporting other people right now. So let's just release the freeze, and let's show that the more normal that your life is, the more routine you have when you're going through a hard time, the more secure you will feel, the more secure your partner will feel, the more grounded everything will be. There we go. Okay. Okay, I'm going to stop here because it's 2 minutes past 3. I'll see you guys again tomorrow. O great Spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my Father, my Mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives and we thank you for these good, good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste.